All right, lads. Welcome to yet again an instant breaking news story, as we did speak about this week. Disappointing, Jas. And if you are watching on the repeat, where do Liverpool find themselves now in relation to losing the race to Chelsea for Moses Caicedo? Get straight into it, Reds. If you are watching the live or if you are watching on the repeat, do get involved. Hit that subscribe button down below if you are new to keep up to date on all things Liverpool throughout the season, as well as this transfer window, which Liverpool have got a massive load of work to do, especially off the back of the game against Chelsea. Wasn't good enough. I know people are going, oh, it was a good point against Chelsea and they've improved under Michel Pochettino. Yeah, no. We should be beating Chelsea. I'm not beating around the bush. We should be, in all honesty, for me. Liverpool, straight into it, David Ornstein. This evening, Chelsea strike agreement with Brighton and Hove Albion to sign Moses Caicedo for a British record fee of £115 million fee plus sell-on clause to Brighton. Contract is between 8 years and also with an option with a 9th year, which is mad. Medical is supposedly booked for tomorrow, and the transfer is expected to be completed the same day tomorrow. Well, Reds. Disappointing, chat. I've got Kev joining me this evening. Speak of the devil, and he will appear as well. There we are, Kev. Obviously, me and Kev, probably good reaction to that as well. So really do appreciate everyone for all the support on mine and Kev's channel throughout the week as well, Kev. In thoughts, Kev, when you're seeing this, mate?
When do we get our cut? That's what I'm thinking. When is this going to happen with the as they say, like there's Brighton have to pay some sort of compensation out to people for the situation that happened with the whole dealings. Maybe it's done in a gentleman's agreement somewhere. So I don't know. I don't care. I just want to get a signing in. We were never in for Moises Caicedo 3 days ago. So for me, it was still a priority to get it. The fact that we just tried to nick him from Chelsea and the player was adamant on going to Chelsea because of all the promises they gave him and he could remain in London was going to be a hard one to get. There's always a grimace of, or a blemish of hope, I should say. When I say blemish, I mean like it's a false type of hope. So it's there's always one of those, but at the end of the day, there's loads out there to get.
Yeah, there's a lot, mate, but we're running out of time. We've wasted the last 3, 4, 5 transfer windows, in all honesty, mate. We knew Liverpool had massively too much stuff and transfers and players to come in, and obviously with the departure of Fabinho and Jordan Henderson, we got 52 million and 52.5 million for both of them lads, which is, from a club perspective, great business. But at the end of the day, mate, for me, and as every Liverpool fan's been saying for the last couple of weeks, you don't let your first choice number 6 leave the football club without adequate reassurances that you're going to be bringing players in. And there's this other spin curve I want to ask you, and we'll ask chat. We spoke about this last week at the top of the week. Was it just a ploy by FSG? Very much a case in point of them just putting in a bid full well with the notion and the understanding from their point of view that the bid and the player, first and foremost, wanted to go to Chelsea. It's like, did you know? Surely doing their due diligence, really, in terms of behind the background. Everyone knew that Caicedo wanted to go to Chelsea. That's what the noise has been. But Liverpool putting a bid in for a player that we didn't do the legwork on, hence why he's going to Chelsea Football Club, mate. What's your?
I just think, look, if anything, the club was probably slightly naive in thinking that every single player might want to go to them if they just put in a bid, without talking to them. So I that's exactly what I think it was. But it was nuts. It gave me a grimace. Like I even put a post on my page saying yes, get in, because it said deal agreed. A medical to happen at this time, the whole lot, and it's just where it is now, right now with Chelsea. It's exactly the same thing that's just after happening now with Chelsea happened to us on Friday. So nobody expected the agent to kind of put a stop to it and do all of that. Just something that doesn't happen to clubs like Liverpool or United or or City on NDDs where somebody just turns around and says, no, I'm not going after big deals have agreed and stuff. So it's a surprise. So I even got slightly excited on the Friday. But other than that, the first thing I said when I heard it first, and it wasn't a deal agreed, it was a bid put in, and we're going to challenge them. I was like, oh man, something's going on here. What's was
it a case in point of getting the whole fan base on side from FSG's point of view? Because it's certainly done that. It's certainly got and we were all like, oh, sounds, we've been crying out for FSG to spend this money, but it's more or less thrown
You're never going to get the full naysayers to come on their side because they spend most of their time not even watching football games. The majority of people that are staunchly FSG out without seeing common sense are the people that no matter what happens, they could bring in probably Mbappe in the morning and they'd still want it done because it's just an obsession to some of them. But look, they're more interested in being FSG out than they are to watching the football game. And you're never going to keep those ones quiet. You're never going to keep those. But everybody's
Are you
balanced.
FSG in or out, Kev?
Well, as you know me, man, I'm balanced. I use common sense rather than do I want an oil company to come in and buy us out? No. Do I want us to be able to spend money the right way? Yes. Do I want us to do it? Do I want us to feel like we're doing it at Chelsea and a City and having no morals? I mean, I still go back to, it's got nothing to do with Liverpool, but I still go back to Adams. Tyler Adams just had his dreams just destroyed a couple of days ago for the sake of
Chelsea's coming in, putting a bid, and then go.
Yeah. And that's, I know, is the Lavia one going to get over the line? They're saying that's close as well, but is it really? Or are Chelsea going to do the same thing to him? Do just like they'll wait for everything to be signed, Caicedo to finish his medical, and then Lavia could be on his way to his medical saying you're going to get it done now, and all of a sudden they just cancel him because saying, look, we really can't afford you. We're just going to see which one we could go for. It's just, for me, I don't want to be that kind of claw. I am a man of morals. I always have kind of been that way. And I've been kind of brought up that way. I don't believe in any God, but I do believe in Superman. Like Superman to me is my God when I was growing up. So
I think we need a Superman owning this football club.
So that's the kind of way I feel. That's the kind of way I feel about this. And I'd rather not have oil money. I would like to see some sort of investment come into the club. Do I hate FSG? No. Do I think that they've been a bit slack? Yes. Do I think that we need investment big time? Yes. Have they shown their cards now that they need to invest? Yes. If they didn't invest in the needed thing by the end of this summer,
say they don't invest in the next 2 weeks, mate.
Yeah, that's what I'll be starting to I'll be over. You think of a middle line. Do you ever see these shows where it says agree, strongly disagree, and middle line? Yeah, so you've seen it. It does strongly disagree. So at the moment, I am on the agree side of having okay owners that they've done right by and giving them the benefit of the doubt and spend it when they need it to spend. I'm at a point now where if it doesn't happen to some because it's needed, like as anybody else says, people, you know me, Jack, I'm not a FIFA Ultimate Team dude. I'm not one of these guys that need to make these epic signings to fill my adrenaline needs or what you call endorphin needs. It's not one of these things. I'm always like anti kind of transfers in a way, but I like seeing it when it happens properly. But for me, yeah, if they don't do anything in the next couple of weeks or whatever, then I'll slide that over to disagree. Not strongly disagree, but disagree. And I'll keep going that way because I have to keep the right mindset that they need. If they want to be a part of it,
you need to pull the finger out. Oh, you've turned into an event.
I went blue there for a second. I'll turn off this cam and turn it back on.
Kev's turned into an fan.
And I'm back.
Whilst Kev sorts his camera, chat, we will get to all your comments as well, but you know me, chat, if you've been watching my channel or you just discovered my channel, I'm FSG out in terms of just wanting them to spend money, in all honesty. Everyone goes, yes, we spent a lot of money, but it's not just been a case of this window, chats. How many times have we as fans under Jurgen Klopp wasted my best manager in my lifetime in 20 years, 8 years old, watching the Reds? Obviously, it didn't grow up in an era of the 70s and 80s, but I'm pretty sure when that team very much needed reinforcements in the squad, we very much went out and got the best in the land as well. We got a certain Kenny Dalglish and a certain other load of legends that are painted in the history books for the next 200 years of this great football club. Liverpool is a bastion of a football club as well. And Shankly said there's a holy trinity the fans, it was the owners as well. Hang on, I quickly get it up anyway. I did have it up. But there's the Holy Trinity, the fans, the manager, and then obviously the football club, and everyone building, and the owners should be there to write the checks, and the director should be there just to write the checks. That's all they are there for in any ownership structure of a football club anyway. They need to. But we'll quickly get through all these comments as well, chat. Apologies if I don't read out everyone's, because obviously there's 81 people of yours, but always do get your comments in. I will feature them on the channel as well.
Read them all, Jack.
Yeah,
read them all.
Final announcement for Lavia and coming, just waiting for the final confirmation. Yeah, your Fredge, and that we will speak about, and that's why I've put Todd BOEHLY 1, FSG 0, because he's got one over the FSG, and this notion of FSG yet again, and let's not forget that FSG, it's a typical ploy in terms of their ownership of Liverpool. They do this. They turned up, was it last summer? I think it was around January time when they turned up at Anfield. We all thought it was, they've given the final good word to sanction a big deal or a certain amount of money to certain players. But no, it was to sanction an $500,000 loan on the last day of the season, by all accounts, or wherever it was. It's a typical Americanism, really, just turning up, showing your power as an owner or the owner of the football club to turn up. But yeah, he's done it again today. Well, yesterday anyway. It's midnight now. So loads of.
I don't know what I'm doing. What I'm doing lately is I'm just looking at other options that could be available. Yeah, that might be on the go.
So chat as Kev scours the market.
I've got him right here.
You get your recommendations as well. We'll speak about Lavia in a little second. By all accounts, as obviously your friend has said here, Romeo Lavia is not going to Chelsea yet. Keep calm, but that can very quickly change in the world of football. Your Fred, as we know. Where's your Caicedo? Big up there, Mike. I tell you, where's Fergie, lad? It's not too easy when you've not got Fergie in charge, is it, lad? So yeah, where's your Fergie gone? There we go. Big up there, Dave. It's over, Reds. We always wanted a Chelsea. You wanted Chelsea anyway. A big week for LFC as well. It's potentially looking bleak. We know you have it, John. Get the checkbook out, Zane. Yeah, and that's the thing, chatting it. And as Reds, I've always said it doesn't matter. Yes, we need to spend money, but I'd rather we get quality in over the price tag. We all want that, even if it's a 20. But now, as a football club and as a modern day football fans, whoever comes in now is certainly, by all accounts, going to be a downgrade. Well, in terms of quality wise, Caicedo, there's only one Caicedo on this current market in time. Shea Adams is on the market for Leeds, but I don't want us to go after them. But as I mentioned with $500,000, I bet you any money, Liverpool don't get anyone in, and he's still available on the market. FSG will be like, he's available, 20 million, sound, get him in. And we've got to be happy with that, haven't we? So yeah, we'll go with that one. So, sadly, Zane. Kieran, obviously the main man, as you can see there, David Ornstein. I'm not going to bring up that other fella, absolute fraud. Yeah, so the main man, best journalist out there in terms of football and news and everything. If you don't follow him on the socials, go and check him out anyway. So he's been absolutely spot on in everything. In all honesty, Liverpool are speaking to agents, so Lavia not a must. We just need somebody. But you see, that's the situation, Kevin, chat, that Liverpool don't want to be in now. It's almost a case in point of, as Yassir said there, like, we need someone, but it shouldn't be just someone. It should be a case in point of players that Liverpool have heavily scouted for the last 6 to 12 months that should be on that board. And the negotiations should have come the first day of the transfer window open in the last couple of weeks. Should have been in the football club for me.
Yeah, he should have been. But like, the whole this all stems back to Jordan Henderson and Fabinho leaving and surprising the hell out of Jurgen Klopp, to be honest with you. No, like, whatever about people giving Fabinho stick last season, nobody literally thought he was going to leave the club because of one mediocre season with the club after being the best central defensive midfielder on the planet for like 3 or 4 years with us. So I don't understand why, whoever thought that was going to happen. Jordan Henderson was somebody that we thought was going to start to move into the Milner role in a way over the next season or so. We knew he'd get a lot of game time, but we just thought he'd move into that role. He's our captain. He's not going anywhere. Who would want to leave Liverpool as being Liverpool captain? And all of a sudden, within a week of each other, the two boys are saying, yeah, we're out of here. So, that kind of forced our hand to get these kind of at least creative midfielders out of the way because we lost Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, as long as they weren't available, Naby Keita, they weren't available, James Milner was going at the end of the season.
All attack, no defence though.
All attack. Yeah, exactly. So Liverpool just found that they needed to do something drastic. They needed some sort of pivot players or anchor players. They needed some sort of creative midfielders. So they went into the market and they got Szoboszlai and they got Alexis McAllister. So we've done that. We've gotten it out of the way. We wanted to get, the deals done. We'll go back to the Lavia deal. We can't start association. You have to go simply with how Liverpool work. Liverpool work in a certain way where if they don't rate a player, they won't pay the money that's expected to pay, that clubs will expect to pay. So if Lavia, it was 50 million, anybody saying that we bid 45 million and all that, they're way off the mark. So Liverpool probably bid about 34 to 35 million plus about 2 or 3 million add-ons, and it's about 13 million shy of what Southampton have.
What are we playing at though, Kev? And everyone would go, I know, everyone's screaming, that's football, and that's business. You don't always go in straight away with your first big bid. And Southampton in there, he's fully contracted down, Lavia, or any potential players for that matter, at their football clubs. If a team, and hence why Brighton, not like McAllister a couple of months ago in the World Cup before he left, if Caicedo's agents had a bit more sense, and potentially in the future, in this new contract, obviously you've got to sell on Chelsea, but it's down to those selling clubs. I've got no gripes with Southampton for wanting their correct money for a player. Liverpool have held out in the past. Felipe Coutinho, 130 odd, whatever it was for them. We wanted our price. He went. But I don't know. There's
a big difference between Lavia and Coutinho, though. That's the way I look at it.
In general, though, mate. I don't think we should be 2 weeks away from the transfer window shutting, and then we are left with bottom scraps, mellow income and transfer again, mate.
See, at the start of the window when all this was happening and we were linked with Lavia, it was like a 22.5 million to 25 million deal. All of a sudden they get relegated and he goes up to 50 million.
We knew for example that instant first and second bid were going to get rejected. So we've wasted 5, 10, 15 days on two pointless bids when we know the asking price is there as crystal clear as day.
That's the things. The guys that are negotiating don't have to play football and they don't have to run a team. They're guys in suits that do deals, So this is not Jurgen Klopp doing the deal. Remember that. This is not Liverpool Football Club itself doing the deal. So but the guys that are doing the deal are all suits. They're not coaches. Schmatke was brought in to get the deals over the line with Szoboszlai and McAllister, and he did well doing that. Imagine if we didn't get him in. People were I see him giving out about him yesterday or something. And I'm just like, you can't force a player like Caicedo to go to a club just because you're Liverpool. If he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. So we either wait and see how the deal turns out, and then we move on to the next targets. So that's been done and dusted now. Whatever to do with Lavia, Liverpool might push into it, or they might pull away from it. And if they do, how many? We do need one homegrown player, right?
Yeah, completely off.
I know we've gone off of that for the last week or so. I'm forgetting myself. So if we need a homegrown player, we're bound to go in for that. Maybe a young player or something like that.
Lavia qualifies as homegrown, I think.
Maybe McConnell being brought up into the team might be that. Doak being brought up into the team might be that. So we don't need to get any more homegrown players. Maybe we can go big now on other players if they're going to be part of the squad, which means the club are forced to do 4 association players, 4 club-based players. Within the squad. So if you've got your Dokes, your McConnells, your Curtis Joe, Trent is part of that, and then you've got your association based.
Do they win you titles, though, Kev?
No, they don't. But they don't. In a few years, a couple of those would. But this is just squad depth, is what I'm talking. I'm trying to get over the whole point of the what the rules say that we have to do. But look, there's a few options out there that are still there. There's this. It's the most intriguing one is the Mbappe staying at PSG after none of them are talking, but they've both decided, yeah, let's sign a new contract because, you get this. You still get to go to Real Madrid next season. The same thing that happened the last 2 seasons. You get to go next year, but we get to get the money off. It's weird, but that means that Real Madrid need money now.
They've basically done what Liverpool done with Neymar, not Neymar, with Mane. They're getting rid of Neymar to Saudi, PSG, and they're freeing up wages to give Mbappe even more to keep him happy. Money is the only way that you keep a player like Kylian Mbappe with his attitude. You'd think for a player that's won the World Cup and obviously got bigger aspirations as a player that he would just be going, but at the end of the day, just everyone around the world, money talks. And
World Cup is great and all of that. People from other countries don't care if France win the World Cup. Only people in France care if France win the World Cup. That's the whole point. The rest of the planet won't care. You can go down and see this is where people kill their history. They can go down in history as a player. This is where, take a lesson from Philippe Coutinho. Philippe Coutinho was an absolute superstar at Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp said one sentence to him: stay here and they'll build statues about you. Go to Barcelona, you'll end up on the bench and your career is over. And look what happened.
Well,
it's that simple. If Mbappe doesn't go somewhere better than PSG, he'll never be regarded as one of the greats.
Do you say there's any Chelsea fans in the comments tonight? I'm pretty sure there is. Obviously, they had Musiala in the books a very long time ago. Chelsea, they've had lots of very talented players. I'm pretty sure they had somewhere in the academy, or they had the option to buy Kylian Mbappe a very long time ago, and they turned that down because I think at that time his family, as they are now, currently asking for far too much.
I'd like to answer that one there. I'll put it up there. I put it up on the screen. So it's Klopp lied. I don't see how he lied. Do you mean in the press conference at the end? It's not him speaking. He's speaking on behalf of the club. So he said that the club have told him that they have to announce that yes, they are in the running for Caicedo, and yes, they have put in and agreed a deal. So Brighton and Liverpool did agree a deal. It's the player that said no. So understand that the club is not at fault for this. Klopp is not at fault for the deal with Caicedo. Schmadtke is not at fault for the deal with Caicedo. FSG aren't at fault with the deal for Caicedo. Who's at fault for the deal for Caicedo is a guy called Manuel Sierra and Caicedo himself, because he runs everything that he does and he pretty much has ownership of this player. If you think back to the time where it was like Mascherano and Tevez when they came in and they were like third party owned, they couldn't decide whatever they could do with their own future. That's the kind of situation that Caicedo is in. And, he could either make 4.25 million via Independiente, giving him a chunk of the money that they'd make out of the 20%, and the money that he'd make in the deal, or he could go to, that's with Liverpool, or he could go to Chelsea. He would see almost 10 million out of that deal in that way. So you tell me why he was, that's exactly why Caicedo's gone to Chelsea and why he's bigged it up. And also, Chelsea had done a lot of groundwork at that time as well, and gained his trust, and he just didn't feel like he had to do it all over again at Liverpool when the deal was so close. So there's a lot of factors behind it. But at the end of the day, we move on and we go for the next target. That's so it works.
Yeah, and a lot of people mentioning FFP, but I don't want to be whinging really. Like football, only after there's a very good, if you're wanting to watch something on Netflix, there's a very good thing on obviously FIFA and their corruption. It's deeply rooted, and it has been for the last 130 odd years. The history of the game go back to the early 1920s as well. Italian football, even English football, European football as well. Liverpool getting beat by Inter Milan in that famous semi-final a very, very long time ago under Bob, when obviously Bill Shankly was in charge as well. So it's deep rooted, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to the lawmakers, whether that be in the Premier League, UEFA, FIFA. But until then, everyone should be allowed to spend whatever. But in terms of big up there, Corvo, I think if he's still in the chat, mate, a massive Newcastle fan. I was speaking to a couple of Newcastle mates when they come down this week, mate, and they are now not allowed to spend. They've got to spend within their means, and every other fan base has got to, or where if an owner has a bit of money or comes upon some money, they are limited now due to the fact that City, when they got taken over in, was it 2010, 2008, there was no rules in place. They could just go and spend as whatever. But now it's protecting, and I will say it's protecting Liverpool as well. It protects very much the fat cats in European football and the Premier League. It protects the top 4, top 5, top 6 teams very much. It limits gone are the days of another Leicester City winning. Hopefully, we do as a neutral, somewhat, as long as it's not Everton. Winning the Prem, that would be great, mate. But what is your thinking? And chat, let us know.
Well, Newcastle are going to have the opportunity to show. I think for Newcastle fans, it's not about getting all that money in. I don't think any Newcastle fan. I think they're a very similar club to Liverpool.
Yeah,
and I think that any Newcastle fan doesn't. They'll enjoy.
They've had 15, 20 years of Ashley. They'll say again.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, no investing. Your man just taking money out of the club. Pretty much similar situation that you see at the Glazers. They're just glad that Ashley's out of the club and they've got savage stability now. Whether they're hindered by FFP doesn't make a difference. I mean, St. James's Park is a big stadium. They're going to be able to spend pretty good money going forward.
Good one, that guy. Very good.
Fictional fair play. Somebody said something similar to that on Dave's channel there too when I was watching it, and it was fabricated fair play. They said, yeah, and that as well. So yeah, there was another one. So yeah, look, Newcastle are just going to be able to spend within their means, but because you got the sign of the size of the club, I mean, Chelsea's got a small stadium, and I'm just
I'm just going to read out a tweet I've just seen here, Kev. We can quickly find it. Yeah, it's from Ian Doyle. Chelsea, this is get on this, Kev. Everyone. Chelsea are on course by the end of the month to have spent 1 billion on players in 3 transfer windows under Todd BOEHLY and his consortium. Net spend will be around 600 million to 700 million, depending on further sales. The pressure on them to win major honours in the next 2 years is absolutely huge. That's what we're up against, or because I think.
How did they clarify that? Some dude told me today because we sold Mount and we were getting rid of Kepa and we're doing this. And where does the other 376 million come from to cover the FFP? It makes no sense. I don't know how they're doing it. And they're saying there's 8-year contracts. So that was stopped that was sanctioned a couple of months back. So you tell me because Chelsea did the deal for Moises, Caicedo and May that they can still go into that same place, or the deal hasn't even been done or finalized. So personal terms won't matter. They won't click into gear until the deal is finalized. So they can't do this 8-year contracting. They'll be pulled for it. I think Todd BOEHLY wants to do this. Fill his team full of stars, then take the transfer ban for about 5 windows, take a huge hit on whatever, and then, and you know what else he's after doing? He's after dubbing in what Abramovich did in the last few seasons about financial fair play. Do you know what that does? It stops him from being done, or the club from being sanctioned money-wise, and that reason they'll go after Abramovich for that. But it means that any points deduction or any punishment will go towards the team of Chelsea, which means he's scot-free. He's like, oh yeah, but I did nothing. That's the owner of Chelsea Football Club right there, man.
Big. I was going to say, big. And Chelsea fans, and there's a lot of these in chat.
Yeah.
Big up to all you that are being absolutely sound. Welcome to the channel, to Liverpool channel, but we do a lot of Premier League content as well. But the thing is that Chelsea's biggest issue in the last couple of years was just getting the correct manager. And I think hence off the back of the game that we had today, obviously we spoke about it in the post-match, but I don't think modern day football fans, even us, for example, mate, we're not really bothered. We don't write the checks. It's just the ownership structures and all these teams. But what you then take into account is if they do get done, it's always the fans that get hit.
Suffer.
Suffer. If not to say they will, but if they do, Chelsea fans, if they get a massive points deduction or something, it will affect the fans as well. It always comes back down to the fans. But big up their chat as well. Kev, I think next section of the show this evening, chat, we'll go into obviously a couple of the potential targets. Where do Liverpool go now in terms of the current market, or in terms of the planning for the next 2 weeks, Kev? You've got a couple of names up there, mate, haven't you? I was just going to quickly. Sorry there, Messi. I'm just going to highlight a couple of comments. Apologies, I can't highlight everyone's chat. These are just 300 of these in here. You're absolute legends. But if you are new around here, hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video. Massively does help everyone. But if there's any Chelsea fans, there's a lot of you. Best of luck, because I tell you what, you are getting very much a tremendous, hugely talented player. And I think off the back of the game, Liverpool and Chelsea today, both sides massively needed a top quality.
That was a weird game, man. That was just weird. I've never seen a Liverpool and Chelsea game like that one today. I really have. Like Liverpool were phenomenal for the first half an hour, and then Gakpo and Diaz didn't get back enough, and then what's his name, Sterling and James figured out that they were able to, if Sterling dropped into this pocket, he was able to keep playing the pivot role for Reece James to get there, and that annoyed the crap out of Liverpool, and it alienated Robertson big time. So if we had a CDM in that role, it would have been McAllister over there, not Gakpo trying to defend. So it would have been a completely different story. So because we could have ran away with that at the start.
Yeah, big up there, Travel. I'm guessing you've just tuned in for the last 2 minutes where we were talking about, we were talking as a whole, and rewind the video, mate, because you know me, I'm FSG. I'm guessing you haven't watched my channel before. Go back and rewind it. We were talking about it, but that's the beauty of modern day TikTok society. You watch it 60 minutes of a video and you go, wow. He's saying this, but welcome, lad. Big up there, matey. Is it Raban? Hopefully you've said that, miss. So
sorry.
So when the Lavia and Elise deals are finalised, Chelsea would have spent 1 billion in 3 windows. This really makes me love football so much as well. Thing is, though, mate, Liverpool have very much spent a lot in our history in the last 30 years. It's just that we've spent the money poor under managers that we've had. Rodgers, Rafford as well. Obviously, we had a couple of gems along the way. Look at Torres and the boys. Yeah, Alonso, Mascherano. But if only we could have those years back under Jurgen Klopp, I tell you now. Obviously, Rafa, legend, love him. We all love him winning the Champions League, coming close in the league. Suarez nearly won in his league. I know Rodgers done it right, but it was basically Luis Suarez single-handedly carrying us to that nearly league title anyway. But massive thank you for the super chat, mate. Really do appreciate it. Nice one for Kev for starting that one.
Yeah, no matter. It's the when I was on about the sanctions put in place for the rule changes and all that, I don't know whether they're in place yet. That's the whole point. So I haven't got a clue whether it wasn't like it was brought up at the end of last season that they were going to be ready for this season, right? Or for this window, so that if the sales were going to happen, they couldn't do. Well, didn't they say they couldn't do these long contracts anymore? Didn't that come out?
Chat, using
yeah, because I remember seeing that. I remember watching it on Sky Sport News. I remember seeing the journalists going on about it. I remember all that. So I just thought it was in place. So that's just me. But when I seen that, and they said, "Oh yeah, no longer can you do these kind of contracts," and I was like, "Okay." So then when I seen 8 years plus 1 today, I was like, "Hang on a minute, I thought that was stopped." So I'm in the dark about that a little bit. But anyway, going to the defensive midfielders, if my personal choices, straight away, if the Mbappe deal thing was to happen and Real Madrid need money, you could probably go after Tchouaméni, and maybe Real Madrid would actually talk and sell. Maybe the player himself wouldn't want to come and he'd want to stay at Real Madrid. Another situation that you have there with Caicedo. The other ones that I would think of would be, me, a year and a half, I've been blowing on about Youssef Fofana. I'd get him in here straight away, and I'd take that route. You have if you're having like defensive core, I get Inacio or David Hanko to cover in that left-hand side of defense role if you need a left-hand side of defensive player. Midfield as well, you won't be able to prize De Jong away from Barcelona. He's on too much wages. He's on, he's like a Barca. Yeah, so you're not going to be able to price. Not going to happen there that way. But there's a number of look. At the end of the day, I'm very, very surprised that we did go that big for Caicedo. But I'm not surprised that we only do that every so often when Klopp really wants a player or somebody, a player comes available. So, what's his name? We did it for Van Dijk. We did it for Alisson, and we spent big on those. But the majority of times we do spend fairly well, 34 to 50 million. and then Klopp just turns them into a worldie anyway. So I'm not too worried about who we get as long as we get the bodies in the door. And if you get two potential players of the ilk of Lavia or a Thuram or any of these, we go back in for him, do it, any of these, Klopp will turn him into a world-class player anyway, or fail trying. I mean, you can tell the players that Klopp didn't choose himself by how they are in the team now. Nunez is one of them.
I was going to say, Kev, we've had this discussion in chat. I don't know, let us know, because you're two pence to the matter as well. Like, I think we signed Nunez with the understanding of very much playing a 4-3-3, not this 3-box-3 formation with Nunez. Hence why he's on the bench. I know, obviously, fully integrating them, but I think long-term, Gakpo will be that forward-thinking player through the middle, and then or we put Nunez on the left flank as well. So
DJ Hockey there said that Fofana went to Saudi. That's different Fofana.
Yeah, the other Fofana. He used to play for Fofana.
Yeah.
The Monaco lads.
Yusuf Fofana is from Monaco. So
Yusuf Fofana. But there's certainly not just for Liverpool, but for a lot of Premier League teams in this next 2-week period, especially clubs down there. And you do. Wolves are a bit of a mad one. They need a lot of signings. Liverpool need signings as well.
Paulinho, they're going to spend a pretty penny on him, but get him in.
I was going to say, like, obviously West Ham, I'm pretty sure, obviously, when they got their Declan Rice deal sorted, obviously he's got a broken arm or sprained arm, or he's got something wrong with his arm anyway. He done that in pre-season. But Kev, chat, would Paulinho go about pleasing you and us, really, mate?
I don't know. What's his rating?
I think Paulinho's 27, 20. I think obviously the Fulham lad, Paulinho, sorry. He's a hugely talented. Statistically speaking, he was probably the best DM in the Premier League alongside the likes of Rodri last season. And obviously that fella on the screen as well, Moises Caicedo. But a couple of people I mentioned, chat, big up there, Eel. Good to see it in the comments, mate. If you are new around here, chat, hit that subscribe button down below. We go live every single night talking about Liverpool, a lot of Liverpool, and other stuff as well.
Love us.
So hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you head over to Spider LFC. Let's get to Kev as well, up to a K. But Eel has said here, Ibrahim Sangare is one to get. He won't go back if we don't go back in for Lavia. We don't value him at 50 million. No chance we bid more than that. No. Sangare, obviously the Ivory Coast PSV central defensive midfielder. A lot of people have said about his game that he's too slow, but when you look at Fabinho's game as well, he wasn't necessarily a player that overly relied on his pace. I think Liverpool's biggest issue is those 5-10 yard spaces or squares within the wide area as well in terms of those attacking transitions. But yeah, Kev, what are you looking at there? Like a couple of
there's loads. I mean, we've said a few of them already. I mean, Florentino Luis would be a dream if we got him in. You got your Tchouaménis, don't you? Florentino Luis's. Like I would keep pegging down the lines of what would suit a Liverpool type team. And those would kind of be the guys that I would kind of go for. There's is a Benacer as well from Benacer. He was the ex-Arsenal fella. He could be brought in from Italy as well. So, there's a few, but he would only, for me, he'd just be a squad type player that you could bring in. But you do need the bodies. We need 2 midfielders in there, 2 central midfielders. We have enough attacking talent in the team to the point where we, as I said to you earlier today, we probably need to get rid of one in the next window. Just to kind of balance out the team, is small of it, and to bring down the size of the squad if we have to bring in these extra 3 players. So, by 3, there's a few of the Kimmich's there, but he's a bit ancient now at this stage.
Too old, really.
He's too old, yeah.
Get your recommendations in. Get to Maverick's comments as well. The LC database has only 5 players in it, and there's all out of FSG's price range. They simply don't buy enough useful players. It's not, when it's not buying the players. I think the issue all of us, Maverick, as we know, is their willingness to very much back the club. But we don't know. It might be a case in point that Klopp too much trust in certain players over the last couple of years and certain players that we know, or whether the case in point is Klopp's just, and the thing I hate the most is Liverpool supposedly in the recent seasons is we haven't seen value in players. Like, there's always value out there if you shop at the right price, and even if you need to compensate and get an extra player in that certain position because you're not 100% on them, go for it. But yeah, it's difficult, mate, and it's unlucky. Lavia next. Big up there, Jim. Obviously, Chelsea fan. I tell you what, it'll be interesting to see where Chelsea are going. They are going places this season. Sure, bloody hell, Alexander, definitely not, mate. Definitely not him. Christ.
No. Jim said he bought Adams already.
I quickly check on Twitter chat anyway.
No, they didn't. That fell through. They cancelled that because of the Caicedo deal.
Yeah, so quickly make sure, because as we are on live here, just quickly can change very quickly. Add-ons makes me see. Quickly just reading out this other tweet as well, chat, and Kev, 4 years from David Ornstein. Add-ons in the £115 million bid agreed with Chelsea seem very achievable. Plus, Brighton expects them swiftly. A fair based on making Europe 2/3 appearances related for Chelsea, offered more guaranteed upfront than 111 million agreed with Liverpool. So that's where the biggest swing is, Kevin chat. In terms of Chelsea, you eventually found a magical pot of money out of somewhere, out of the back of the couch, to very much put up front, and fair play to them. At the end of the day, if you've got to do that, you've got to do that as well. Because as we know, with a lot of our deals, Kev, you look at the Jota deal.
I know what they did. They're after taking about 5 players and told them we're going to pay you cash. We're going to knock down your wages, but pay you the rest in cash.
Did a quick bank transfer anyway.
Lads have been paid in Bitcoin. Half the Chelsea players have reduced their wages by 50%. I know they're getting paid the other half in Bitcoin.
Was it up the Bitcoin chasing blues or whatever you want to but chat, I think we'll call it a night here. I really do appreciate it. Still 300 of people in here tonight, this evening, chat. A massive thank you to every single one of you. Hit that subscribe button down below as well, everyone. Massively helps out the channel. Drop a like on the video as well, Reds. All the Chelsea fans, sounds good luck to you this season. It's going to be some battle if you continue playing like you did today. But I tell you what, Kev, just shout out your socials, please, mate, where everyone can find you, and head over.
Spider LFC, lads, this week, and you can find us at the Kitmen as well. So this Saturday, we've got the camera crew coming in, and we're going to be doing the All Premier League show. The Kitmen is an All Premier League channel as well. So like anybody from Chelsea, Newcastle, a lot of these will be in the crowd, and we'll all just talk stuff just about our teams and back and forth. And that show should be it's been filmed on Saturday, and it'll be done weekly or bi-weekly. We haven't decided yet, and it'll be out in the following week after we film it. So yeah, it should be good crack to watch.
Yeah, 100%. But just massive thank you all for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button down below. We will be live again tomorrow evening. Hopefully we have a bit of news from a Liverpool perspective in terms of some new players might go to bed again, like it was a couple of days ago when it got announced that Liverpool had agreed. But I like it for us. But we go again. We need to prioritise a DM. We need to get one in through the football club very soon. But Kev, everyone in the comments, have a lovely rest of your night. All the best to Chelsea. We've got a tremendous number 6 coming in. And I'll tell you what's going to be even more difficult now for Liverpool but to get into the top 4. But that's what we want. We want a competitive Premier League to make it a bit more easier for whoever does win the Premier League. And there's a bit more competition in the Prem. But for now, everyone, look after yourself. And we'll see you tomorrow evening.